In today's video, I will be taking you for a walk from a lovely village and onto one of the famous Yorkshire Three Peaks with panoramic views to enjoy. A popular area for walkers who enjoy a challenge and testing their endurance. This is Ingleborough. The walk started from the National Park car park in the village of Clapham. Some free parking is available on the streets, but it's more considerate to the local residents to use the car park. The all-day charge was less than £5 at the time of our visit, and there were plenty of spaces available with toilet facilities also on site. After turning right from the car park, we followed the road to pass by the Church of St. James. There has been mention of a church on the site since 1160, although the church and village were mostly destroyed in the early 14th century. Most of the buildings dates from the 19th century, with the tower dating from the 14th or 15th century. Just around the corner from the church is the entrance to the Ingleborough estate, with access to the nature trail and cave. Because this is a private land, there is a small charge to access the nature trail, which at the time of our visit was £1 per adult and 50p for children aged between 3 and 15. A right-of-way does exist to the north of the estate, but I think the small payment is worth using the trail, as there is a nice lake to walk past, and I can imagine it will be pleasant to walk through the trees in autumn when the leaves are changing color. Through the trail there are some information boards which give information about the estate and the nature you may experience during your walk. You will also see an example of a folly. This one is called the Grotto and dates from the early 19th century. It was a favorite spot of Elizabeth Farrer. The Farrer family were the owners of the Ingleborough estate, who used to sit and enjoy the views of Thwaites cars while her footman served her cups of tea. The trail is just over 1 mile long and emerges from the woodland opposite Thwaites cars, with the path running along the Clapham Beck, which emerges from the Ingleborough cave. The cave system was first explored by man in 1837 after the landowner James Farrer got workmen to open up the entrance by removing natural calcite dams which had blocked the entrance. These days, a concrete path is laid to give visitors a chance to experience the wonders of the cave system, although this is just for over half a kilometer into the mountain. Further exploration is made by experienced cavers, where discoveries are still being made. In 2001, the remains of a woolly rhinoceros were found just beyond the end of the path. For our walk today, we carry on past the cave and continue along the path up into Trow Gill. This ravine has cliffs over 200 feet high, and there are a couple of theories about how it was formed. One suggests that it is a meltwater gorge that was formed over thousands of years by melting ice water wearing away the limestone. The second theory suggests that there was once an underground cavern formed by waters, and eventually the cavern collapsed, resulting in the formation of the gill. Whichever theory is true, there is still a bit of scramble over the rocks to the top of the gill. From here, we just followed the dry stone wall until we reached a doubled ladder style, which we crossed and continued along the path. On the way up to Ingleborough, it's worth making a short detour to see the entrance to Gaping Gill. Gaping Gill is a natural cave and one of the most famous in the Dales, and also one of the largest chambers in Britain. Indeed, a 3D model was made of the chamber, which concluded the volume is similar to the size of York Minster. Felbeck runs into the chamber and forms a 98-meter waterfall, and the water eventually runs out near Ingleborough Cave. The first known descent was made in 1842 by John Burbeck. However, he only reached a ledge 58 meters down. The first descent, which went all the way down, was by Edward Martel in 1895, who used a rope ladder and candle for illumination. After seeing Gaping Gill, we continued up the obvious well-worn path that leads to Ingleborough. Although there are large flagstones and steps along this section, it is a very strenuous walk and shouldn't be taken lightly. It is not particularly steep, rather it's a continuous climb, and I was glad that I had my hiking pole to aid with the ascent. When we reached Little Ingleborough, where there is a pile of rocks and couple of cairns, the wind was really blowing and it was a good place to take a rest after the difficult walk up. After our quick rest, we carried on up the ridge, where the views continued to be impressive across Ribbleshead until we reached the plateau summit of Ingleborough. The height of Ingleborough is 723 meters, making it the second highest mountain in the Yorkshire Dales. Nearby Whernside is the highest at 736 meters. These two mountains, along with Pen-y-ghent, form the Yorkshire Three Peaks Walk Challenge, which is a 24-mile walk to be completed in 12 hours. This is usually done as a charity event to help raise funds for good causes, but of course can also be done as a personal challenge. The views from the top are quite amazing, with the nearby Ribbleshead Viaduct visible, and many other mountain peaks can be viewed. The farthest visible peak is an astonishing 103 miles away in Snowdonia, North Wales. At the highest point of the summit is the Ordnance Survey Trig Point, which is a popular place to take photos. There are a lot of stones on the summit, and many of these are remains of an Iron Age hill fort, which is believed to have been built by the Brigantes and was known to the Romans as King's Fort. After exploring the mountain summit, we retraced our steps back down to Little Ingleborough. From here, we took a compass bearing of 186 degrees due south to take a path across Ingleborough Common and Newby Moss down towards Newby Court. The way across the common is not very obvious, although there is a slight path to follow, and it should not be used in misty weather as it would be very easy to get lost and possibly fall into one of the many shake holes which are dotted around the area. The grassy landscape of Newby Moss changes to the green pasture and stone walls which are typical of the Yorkshire Dales, and from here we followed the track down into Newby Court. Newby Court is a hamlet, and from here Our walk was planned to continue to nearby hamlet of Newby. However, it was quite late in the day and it had started to rain, so we decided to head back to Clapham via a more direct route, which was to take the tarmac road known as Old Road. This road forms the boundary of the Yorkshire Dales National Park and links Clapham with Ingleton. The pretty village of Clapham sits at the base of Ingleborough and has Clapham Beck running through the center of it. This is fed from Beck, which we saw earlier in our walk, as it ran into Gaping Gill. The beck is crossed by 4 bridges, which makes for a nice way to see the village, crossing over them and exploring the different streets and buildings. Beside the beck is the market cross, with the base dating from the 14th century and the cross dating from 1897. Local businesses include a hotel, which serves food and drink, as well as cafe and village store. Ingleborough may be a long walk, but it's one of the finest walks in the Yorkshire Dales. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Getaways with Noel. Thank you for watching.